Let's do
So
it.
one of my first questions, I know you were able to go to college on a football scholarship, and you
Yes.
went to University of New Mexico.
Yes.
And I remember hearing that when you arrived on campus, you were one of 8 black people out of 8,000 students.
7.
One of 7.
Wow.
There were, by the way, the only thing I knew about New Mexico then was that the atomic bomb was built in Los Alamos and exploded in Alamogordo. But arriving on the campus, the university had 8,000 students. There were only 7 blacks and 1 black woman. In
Wow.
the year that I came in, 7 of us came in, so there were 12, but 1 black woman.
Wow.
Wow.
And and that was incredibly instructive from the standpoint we knew that we had to interact with the majority of students who were Anglo-Americans, and then Hispanics, and then Native Americans. And so we did this, because we knew that was the best way to get along and to understand and to grow.
Wow.
Being in an environment that was quite something during those days.
Was it very different, though, coming from New York City? I know New York is diverse today. I don't know what it was like back then.
Absolutely. I must tell you, going 2,500 miles away and being in a city like New York, the high school I went to in New York was DeWitt Clinton High School, a boys' school of 5,000 boys. I would say 85 to 90% white, maybe 7% black and Puerto Rican. And so going to New Mexico was really a cultural shock.
Wow.
Such a shock, and that I complained bitterly about being at the university in my first year until I went to Missoula, Montana. And after being in Missoula, Montana for 4 or 5 days, I stopped complaining.
Couldn't wait.
Albuquerque became a dream.
Couldn't wait to get back to New Mexico.
Absolutely.
Your parents must really believe in higher education to let you go that far. I know a lot of people's parents are like, listen, I don't know if I don't know anything about New Mexico, I'm not sending my child out there. Why were they comfortable with letting you go?
Fortunately, my mother and the coach of the University of New Mexico, his name was Marvin Levy. He went on to fame because he ultimately coached the Buffalo Bills and lost 4 Super Bowls
Wow.
during that period of time. But he was the coach of the University of New Mexico, and he took my mother and I out to dinner at the Waldorf Astoria. And
That'll do it.
and told my mother and myself about why I should choose coming to New Mexico. But my mother always had a great deal of faith in me. My mother was one of 14 from rural Virginia, and whatever I am today, she had a tremendous impact on me from the standpoint of wanting me. She had 4 commandments. I want you to be a proud black man. I want you to take care of your family. I want you to get a good education. And the final commandment to me was, I want you to try to do the right thing.
Wow.
There you
Always
go.
try to do the right thing.
So my mother is one of 13 from rural Virginia.
Oh, my.
All right. I don't know.
Okay.
We might be related. I need that would explain a lot. That would explain a lot, actually. I don't know. You know, the entrepreneur acumen. I'm trying.
So it
I'm
comes
reaching.
from Virginia, is
It's
what
a
you're saying?
reach. I don't know. I doubt it. But that, being at University of New Mexico and being on that campus, and to me, that would have been overwhelming. It would have also been the opportunity, or I guess the opportunity for me to have been forced to really figure out what I'm about
Yes.
at this point. Was that the truth for you?
It was. I grew into manhood going to New Mexico, and I grew up fast. But I also had help. I had help with some extraordinary people that I was able to meet there. I met a professor who turned out to be one of my absolutely dearest friends, who got me involved in Russian and Chinese history. And so that opened up my head intellectually into a globalization of how this world. I got involved with a very dear friend who taught at the university from Mexico, and he was from the International House. And he turned out to be an incredible wealth of information, well-read. And so this enabled me to grow and to understand and really begin to appreciate who I was. And after I lost my football scholarship at the
I heard about
university-
that. I didn't know if I was supposed to say it, but I did. I did
Yes.
read about that.
No. I lost my football scholarship. I thought because of my lack of athletic skills, but it wasn't that. I learned years later I was cut from the football team because I was perceived to be a radical, outspoken. I'm not a person who spoke very much, but when I did, it made some people uncomfortable. So I never did finish playing football. all 4 years, so I only played 1 year, but that was the best thing that happened to
That's
me.
what I was getting ready to say.
Yes.
I don't think that was your loss at all.
I don't think so either.
But why'd you say it was the best thing that happened? What happened next?
It opened up. Well, it opened up a new avenues of looking at my decision to study even more. I became involved in campus politics. I was, quote, big man on campus. I ran for a student council. I even ran for a student body presidency at the university, which was unheard of at that point, particularly being an African American. And by the way, I lost by 100 votes. And
Only 100
the
votes.
fraternities, what they did in terms of campaigning against me, they said the only reason why I wanted to be president of the student council is because I wanted to date all the white girls.
Wow. Wow.